Hey everybody, Doug here from 2 Plus Tough. Let me get some music going. I am just chilling this morning and I thought, hey, why not just flip the camera on? I like to do those kinds of things, so we're going to do that here. Let me sit, get some music playing. A little beat in the background helps me go a little faster. I don't know if you guys ever feel that way. For some reason, when I'm hobbying, talking and music, I feel just makes it go by so much faster. So, okay, here we go. And I think I need to rebalance that from video game time. There we go. So, no real topic for today. Just going to be kind of chilling and painting together. Audio levels look good. Okay, let me know if there's any problems. But I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Pop the chat out so I can see it. Early, yeah. It's 9:30 here. And I wanted to get started for the day. Go to the downward cam here. So, in front of me I have the, they're kind of off to the side here, but I'll be grabbing them as I go through them. They're essentially the Dominion box set models. The way that my scheme for them, with the way I tested on some Knights Excelsior, Sacrosanct dudes, is basically all starts with a big thick layer of Apothecary White. Because I love this paint. And really what it is, it's kind of what I love to do now, which is use contrast to block out colors, and then go back with a more fine setup, using traditional paints and clean it up a bit. So we're just going to pull these guys. Channel your inner Stan Lee. Now, I've seen stuff with Stan Lee that just says Excelsior. What does that mean? I have no idea. I've actually always been curious about that. I saw it a ton when he passed away, and I was like, I don't think it's an inside joke. Like, it's very clearly not a joke, but... good morning, Doug. From Florida. Hey. How are you? I'm doing well. Had a good night's sleep. I woke up just ready and raring to get some hobby done. I'm really trying to not rush through these guys, but I want to get some stuff painted up so I can have them ready. I want to start a local Path to Glory League. So just having some models ready, I think, would be a big boon for that. So, yeah. I'm all motivated. And these guys are cool. I'm not going to lie. One of the things I like about the Vindictors, and honestly with the scheme that I have with the white armor, these are going to paint up super fast. Just because there's not a lot of like extra frilly crap on these dudes. You know what I mean? Like some models, they just have like 10,000 little like purity seals or markings, or you know what I mean? Like this, just little stuff. You're like, this at a certain point it stops adding to a model. Oh man, yeah, they don't have any of that, so that's kind of nice. Let me just hold it up to the light here. I have to use a slightly dimmer light for myself, otherwise it'll blind you guys. So I just have to hold it up, make sure I got every part. Yep, okay. But yeah, I'll be surprised. I'll be honest, in building these guys, there were some folks thinking that when they get released separately as like their own standalone kit, that's going to be just a repackage of the models from the Dominion set, because of something that was said on the Warhammer community site. I don't really know if I believe that, but even if it's true, I will say the Dominion box does have some cool options for you in terms of there's different options for a male and female leader. And then of course if you don't build the leader variant, then they're still in a badass pose, like jamming the spear through something's face. I don't know, there was actually more versatility in the kit than I thought there was going to be for being in a starter set. So that was a pleasant surprise. Surprise. Let's see. Just pulling the contrast from some of the bigger areas. The lovely thing about Apothecary White is if you get it anywhere or you accidentally cover it up or mess it up somehow, it is like perfectly matches like Ulthuan Gray, which makes it so nice to clean up. And that's typically why these ones go so much faster. Faster still than my Celestial Vindicators went. Let's see. Question, any idea where I can get some decent priced proper 4-legged dragon ogres? Dragon ogres. Proper 4-legged ones. Not really, dude. Oh, and you're very welcome about the Vermintide stream. Yeah, I'll happily do another one of those. That was fun. I do like hanging out with people playing the games, but sometimes it's nice just to jump straight into the action. I felt like that was the best I did in terms of chatting with the actual chat versus the other games where like I got conversations in the chat, I got conversations with my other guests and that kind of thing. Got to be a lot, but I think it went super well. I didn't embarrass myself too hard, I don't think. Although I'm just not good at being the dwarf. I know so many people love that character, especially since he came out with the Gatling gun option. I'm just like, take it, do whatever you want. Don't bother me. I'll be Gruber. Okay. Let's see. Sup, champ? Hey. It's his signature. Oh, so he uses Excelsior as his signature kind of a thing? Okay. I had a few comic books that I liked, but honestly, I was never much of a comic book guy. I mean, honestly, I was never much of a collector of anything. I'm actually trying to get into that, like into the mindset of like just collecting a thing because it makes me happy. But yeah, let's see. Hey Doug, since there are now mortal named characters, the Van Dents, do you think AOS won't have big jumps forward in the timeline like they did after the Realmgate Wars? Let me think on that one. I would not count on it. And the real reason I say that is because I think they like having that option in their pocket. Not so much, individual book to book huge gaps, but more like, when they go from like one mega chapter of the story to another, for example, Rumgate Wars to Soul Wars, that represents a big enough change that they kind of skip the timeline forward a bit. Now, what that means for mortals, I have no idea, to be honest with you. But Games Workshop has never struggled to come up with a cheap plot contrivance for people to not be dead, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Be like, no, they're totally the descendants of Galen and Doralia. It's Goralia and Dalen. Just call him Dale, the vampire hunter. And that's how they'll justify like selling you the same model. Let's see. Okay, now I apologize, this really is the most boring part where I'm just putting Apothecary White on stuff, but once all the Vindictors have it on, I'm already a few steps ahead on some other models here, so it'll be more interesting to watch in a bit. Just gotta get this stuff, because honestly, I think the contrast paints are awesome. I think they just take a little extra time to dry. Has been my experience before I start layering anything on top of them. So yeah, just trying to give them All the time they need. I'm going to play the Cruel Boys in A Path to Glory. Going to do a test 1K game Friday. Sweet. I have not built mine. I have a feeling that somehow mine are going to end up like so many other Doug things in the their great reliquaries of the rerolling ones guys closet so that they can get their games in with them. I don't know why the models just didn't appeal to me very much. The Stormcast ones did. I was all over these. And it's, I don't know. I mean, sure, I can't even really articulate what about them doesn't quite grip me. Let's see. New Stormcast? Oh, yes. Oh, Wargamer Willie, thank you so much, buddy. Have a wonderful weekend, Doug. I appreciate all the hard work you put into this hobby for us. Aw, thank you so much, buddy. That's so kind of you. It is tons of fun. Hopefully gives people stuff to paint to as we're all getting excited and painting up for the new AOS. Hashtag new AOS. Question. If you have a unit that can cast a spell to a wholly within 12 inches, can they cast it on themselves? Yes. Yes. So, like, if they have a... Yes, because the unit is wholly within 12 inches of itself. Now, my understanding, based on the new rules, is that you have to... When a unit can cast a spell, which there are a few, say like Evogators or something like that, you do have to pick a singular model to be the caster. Like, you have to. There's no choice in the matter. And so from that point, the spell will go off. He needs to have a unit wholly within 12 of himself. So that's my understanding of the rules. If anyone can refute that, I'm not ever very confident when it comes to rules, but I do know that you have to pick a specific person because that's how you can measure to unbind and stuff like that. But as far as like casting on his own unit, I would imagine it still has to be wholly within, since now you have a specific point of casting. Okay, it's got a little bit much right there. Let's see. Hey Jake, how you doing? Been watching your Broken Realms lore videos. It's been really interesting so far. Oh, I'm glad you're liking them. Hopefully they are entertaining. If that's where you started with me, there's tons of stuff to go back and watch, because this is far from the first campaign series that Games Workshop has done. So I got the Rumgate Wars, some Soul War stuff. Let's see. Doug, what is your hope for the books going forward? Does everyone get a release and then another Broken Realm style event, or toss the event in the middle? I think my hope for rule support kind of books, not novels. My hope is that some of the factions that are more deeply affected by the changes going into third get their books first, and the ones off the top of my head, Beasts of Chaos. And I say that, and like maybe Slaves to Darkness. And the reason I point those two out is because the way list building is written right now in the book kind of hurts them a bit in terms of Beasts of Chaos can't take battalions, that kind of thing. I saw a rumor flying around that they're going to be one of the first 10 or so books that gets updated for that kind of reason, but I don't have any confirmation on that. Yeah, I mean, every army was affected, but I do believe that some were. They just had a completely different design philosophy for list building when they were written, and I think those ones need to be addressed. But beyond that, I mean, honestly, I'm somebody who would never turn down a story. Like if they were like, "Hey, next week begins," I don't know, not Broken Realms, whatever our next story arc is going to be. I'm sure it'll still involve Kragnos or whatever, but Shattered Dominion or something like that. Oh, that's the name of the bases. Never mind. Yeah, I will never say no. Okay, there. Make sure I got all over. Looks like I did. Let's see. I'll probably start a Path to Glory with KO starter set, and I have a Bugsman. Nice. That's a great thing. Smogtown, hey. Opinion about the new Hobgoblins seems quite divided. Some like them, some hate them. I hate them. The entire range, it's just not. It's just not for me, right? Like it looks cool. It is technically like well designed. Like I can see the artistry and stuff in it, and I'm just like, this looks extremely high quality. It looks awesome. It's just not my aesthetic, right? Which of course, not everything is for everybody. I've said that before. But that's how I feel about most of the faction. But for some reason, the Hobgoblins just bother me. Their little weird bodies, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And so then I was like, well, maybe I could use them as an army and just not have that unit. But I'm kind of curious to see how many actual units are going to be in that book. Knowing that it's going to be its own battle tome that is also already definitely been folded in with Auric War Clans. Like, are they going to give them a full complement of options on par with Iron Jaws, Bone Splitters, that kind of thing, or will they be a little more reserved, knowing that it's going to be part of a bigger whole? I do not know. Okay, just one more on the boring guys. You've always been more Gork than Mork. I guess that's true. Painting my Dexessa alongside you. Sweet. Those models, I was so surprised at how short they are. Like, I thought they were going to be full on... what are they called? Keeper of Secrets. I almost said Herald of Slaanesh. I'm like, no, I know that's not right. Keeper of Secrets sized. But they're bite-sized. Probably why they got punked by 2 Witch Hunters in the first appearance they had. So nobody was rude to me in particular, but I had a lot of outrage expressed in some of the comments of that final Kragnos video of like, F this ending, because Sinessa and Dexessa got punked so hard by 2 humans and 1 Stormcast. It's like, the whole point was that we're building up to something amazing and their first debut is bad. I was like, yeah, dude. Bellicor straight up calls them losers for that reason. But they were a little heated. Perfect. Okay. Got the Apothecary White on. That'll just take a while to dry. Let's see. Is Nagash the actual death source of all death magic, or is he just filling the role because he's so powerful? My understanding is death magic exists external of him, but he was bound to that wind of magic at the end of the old world, and so became a god of death, not the god of death. And so when the setting began, there were other deities of death over time that had developed before his arrival, and he basically consumed them to become more powerful. So he made himself the sole, or I should say the preeminent character when it's affiliated with death magic in the realm. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way I can explain that. So I'll show you what I got here. I got basically everything that's wearing a robe, because I wanted to get the robe done first so I didn't have to fix the Apothecary White afterwards. A Gryph-hound, and that's about it. So if you didn't see, my Sequitors, when it comes to their white armor, the cloth, at least for the Sacrosanct Chamber, was black and then like a maroon kind of mixed. So what I did was I made the Praetors, the bodyguard unit, all their army. Let me get this out of the way. Their robes are black. For the wizard, I did straight maroon, and instead of a white helmet, because the helmet's white on the Hammers of Sigmar version, I did a black helmet. Kind of signal her out as being super creepy. And then for the Lord Imperatant, I did a black cape and then the maroon robe. So yeah, that's I'm liking it. I think they look awesome. So I'm just going to pick up where I left off before, and that is doing some gold on these dudes, the Praetors. Let's see. Hey, Jake? Okay, yeah, go ahead, check it out. I really do recommend it. They're fun books. Goose, sorry if I missed it. What did you use for primer? This is Wraithbone. Not really a Stormcast Eternal guy, but plan on painting my Dominion Stormcast this way. I'll dry brush white after the Apothecary. Yep, that absolutely works. I'll say, for the Dominion guy specifically, the Vindictors, the Annihilators, basically any non-character unit, is super easy to do with the dry brushing. It does get a little more complicated when you have stuff like the robes, because they're kind of an awkward position. If you're going to do what you described, first of all, that's awesome, go for it. The only recommendation I would make is that you don't glue the dude to the base, because I did, and then I realized I had some trouble getting in at certain angles. So what I would say is do the exact thing you were talking about, and then when you go to do the robes at the end, make sure you can pop them off the base so you can get in underneath the capes more easily. So that sounds awesome. Go for it. Mark, I think it's safe to say Destruction will be the new big bad. Oh, absolutely. Yep, we're entering the new season of Destruction. Am I painting them as Hallowed Knights? These are Knights Excelsior. I was going to do Hallowed Knights because I love Gardas. I really do. But then when we saw the preview week for Age of Sigmar 3.0, they made it abundantly clear this next season is in Gur, and it's about destruction. And I, like, the Realm of Beasts has been my favorite for a very, very long time. And so when they announced that, I was just like, oh yes. Oh yes. And I'm just picking out weapon bits here. I think for this one I got mostly done before I had to check out. Yeah, pretty good with that. I don't need these guys looking so baller that they show up the leaders they're there to protect. I'm seeing a fashion show. All right. Excited to play some Warhammer Underworlds at my shop. Good job, Mark. That's awesome, man. I just found out there's a few guys locally that are getting into that as well. So I was like, oh, cool. I could join them. Anything GW, man. I try to jump in with fervor around here because there's a lot of 40k players locally. Not so much on the AOS side. AOS here is very weak. So wherever I can meet people in the middle and be like, okay, you want to play, Warcry, you want to play Underworlds, I'll meet you in the middle with playing a different game but still set in AOS, and then let me just slowly grow on you like a fungus, and then I will convince you to play AOS. It's basically how I get them. Super Mutants are great. I wonder if Doug ever got into Fallout 4. Oh, I'm a Fallout fanatic. I love the Fallout series. Love, love, love it. I'm taking a little break from 76, which I do enjoy. But other than that, I have been in it and loving it. Okay, she's coming along good. Just looking, make sure I'm not missing a ton of detail. I'm gonna come back and do all the weapons separately. Because the nice thing about the Dominion models is on nearly every one of the models, their weapons are like not up against the body snug. Like there's plenty of room to work around them so you don't accidentally bump the model. So I don't feel like I have to do them right now. Which is nice. It's nice to be able to be like, focus on the armor, focus on blah. Pick one thing. Let's see. One thing I will say about these Praetor models, these banners are in the way 100% of the time. I can't imagine how annoying it would be to try and fight with this. Just like all up in your face all the time. Like, nope. And one more. Okay. AOS needs a Mirelurk faction. Agreed. Did you play it on the console? I played it on PC. Let's see. Do you think GW will do another narrative campaign like Seasons of War, or stick to more Broken Realm style? I don't know, Luke. I liked the idea of that kind of narrative thing, but I'll be honest, if that's what you're looking for, check out the guys. Just Google Animosity campaign. I don't know if you've heard of those, but basically this year, and it begins on July 14th, there's a fan run version of those things. And I actually just had a cool talk with the guys running it last night. I'm going to be doing some lore coverage for them leading up to and during, so I really do hope you check that out. That guy, you know, I'm exactly where you are. I think, yep, it was criticized very fairly. But you know, it just like people who, you know, once they wrote off AOS at the beginning, they were like, I'm never trying it again. They missed out on how the game evolved. I feel very much the same about 76, where it's like, I played it on the first day that it launched, had some problems, and then I was like, this needs to percolate a little bit. So I let it sit, and it came back to it, and I've liked it ever since. And that is the same story I have for AOS. Just needed some time. But also, you know, it's one of those things like, it was such a radical departure from the other Fallout games that, you know, you can't begrudge people for not being into a very specific type of game. But at the same time, my thought has been, you know, I'm going to judge this for what it is, not for what I want it to be, which is pretty much how it is for AOS as well. Oh, man. Yeah, I might check it out. Keen for the D&D Fallout book coming out. Yeah, I've heard about that, and I've also heard that it, if you play Wasteland Warfare, their miniature game by Modifius, the same company, you can actually link the two. So you can link your tabletop skirmish game and your role-playing game. Like your tabletop RPG, you know, D&D style game. Which I thought that was a super clever touch. Honestly, I'm kind of glad AOS 3 dropped when it did, because I was about to take a strong dive into Fallout Wasteland Warfare. It's a game that I love everything that I see about it. Every single time I look at something that's covering it, I'm like, oh my god, that looks so cool. If you guys haven't seen it, they also, for their skirmish game, they have like a campaign system where you're building up a settlement and you can, you know, find and store weapons and that kind of stuff. But what's unique about their thing is that they actually have a free app that tracks everything. When I say everything, I mean like everything. Every enemy's stats, every hero option, every special weapon you can find, how you build your settlements. I don't know. It's cool. They put a ton of work into supporting their games at Modifius. I reached out to them a few times. They never got back to me, which is, I mean, most companies at least get back to me. But, bit of a bummer there, but that's about it. Okay, got that. I want her little sphere thing to be blue, but I'll put a little gold dollop on top. Conquest has an element of players impacting the narrative too, right? Oh, very much so. Yeah, they have a thing called the Living World, where every week you can vote. Basically, the narrative, they present you a story with the characters that are in play at the moment, and then you, as a community, get to vote to see what that character does. You know, obviously whoever wins, they go that direction, and then you can vote again the next time their story opens up. So you're actually, yeah, over time, and it is a somewhat lengthy process, but over time you are absolutely crafting the story of what happens. Forgive me if I go a little bit quiet. I am painting some rather minute details on this robe that'll have to be cleaned up later. What faction do you play as? I'd love to play as Mirelurks or Nuka World Raiders. I personally don't play, but if anyone in the chat does, let me know. For me, what I would love to play as is NCR. I love the history of the NCR. That is the New California Republic, for those of you who played New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas, that is, in case anyone joined us a little bit late. They were my favorite faction, and I follow, like, you know, I played Fallout 1 and 2, and you get to kind of get a sense of their history from those games, and it was always so cool. So absolutely the Zero. So I'm kind of falling behind the chat here because you guys are talking with one another, which is awesome. Please keep going. But if I missed your question, do an @Doug or all caps question. I won't get mad. I don't think you're yelling at me. Wanting to make a maggotkin army, and the whole theme is going to be they have a literally burning fever. The lesser infected are sweaty, and those who are high up look like burn victims. That's so cool. I love it. How would you teach AOS 3 to a newer player? Because 3 does have more stuff to remember than 2 does, with heroic actions, command abilities, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so I wouldn't teach them very differently, to be honest with you. I would probably do a demo game that does not include any monsters. Just to keep it simple. Trying to keep it as simple as possible. And that's the thing, when you're doing demos, right, which is the teaching games, don't be afraid to, like, pull rules out, you know? I mean, as long as the person has a good time, it doesn't matter. You're trying to give them a sampling. Like, I don't use battle tomes when I do demo games or that kind of stuff. So if you think the hero stuff is too much, don't use it. Your game. You know, and then you could be like, at the end of it, be like, hey, listen, and there's more cool stuff that you could do. Basically, what I would do is create a little game with maybe 1 hero and 2 troops units, and then just very slowly go through it. You take the first turn just to show them how it all works in terms of, like, the order of order of turns and then that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's gotten those initial games when you're first trying to basically sell someone on the hobby. You're not looking for accuracy. Like, let's be honest. So that is a situation where keep it simple, stupid is I'm gonna call it a prime directive. You know what I mean? In terms of don't overload them with needless stuff. Let's see. With that Magkin warband, I can't think of a name for the actual infection. Ooh. I like Flame Fever. Or like make it a mix of like conflagration, which is fire or burning, and then like contagion, like I don't know how I'd even pronounce that, but you know what I mean. Play around with words. Like, you know, you have been baptized in the purity of entropy. And, like, because, like, baptism by fire is kind of a concept, so you can do that. It depends on how religious you want to make them. That's up to you, but I'm a sucker for a zealot faction. I always have been. I don't know why. Menoth and War Machine Hordes. I guess I didn't start with them. I started with Signar because I didn't know that Menoth existed when I started, but whatever. Give him some fancy gold trim on his torso armor. Why? Because he's a boss and he's in charge. Okay, I like how he doesn't have, like, he has his big, like, angel halo thing over his head, but I don't feel like he has the same level of, like, overdone aesthetic stuff as, like, some of the Blood Angels models, where it's all ornate and that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess there's a different theme. He's meant to be a little bit more generic for you to do whatever you want, but sweet. So I have two problems here that maybe the chat can help with. Knowing the Knights Excelsior, the scheme is white armor with gold trim and blue accent color. What colors should my Lord Imperitance Griff Charger, I don't know, shawl, sweater, not sweater, scarf that he has going around him, and his Griffhound be? There is a little armor plate on the top of the Griffhound's head that I want to be white because I want him to match the armor of the other boys. But I need color ideas for those specific things. Conflaphage. I like that. Hard to say. Rashes. I love it. Does anybody know if there's been any Hobgrot lore released? You know, Pretentification, I have the little booklet, like the little narrative booklet that came with Dominion, and there is an entry in on them, but I haven't read it yet. I'm actually going to read it today for notes for lore videos for next week. So stay tuned. I'll have it next week. Let's see. Are these the new Stormcast? Yes, this is the leader from the movie trailer, and then the thin boys are over here to the top left. What do people think of the skinnier Stormcast? I will be honest with you. When I look at these models, where I've got Lord Imperatant, there's our Praetors, here's our Wizard and a thin dude. when I was playing fantasy battles, and I jumped in right about 8 months before Sigmar dropped, the rumors going around of like lightning paladins and stuff like that, like these are what I thought they were going to be. Not so much the chunky block boys that we got in that first initial wave. I still like those models. I'm going to be getting some to match them in because I like them. But I guess in my mind's eye, this is kind of what I was thinking of. And so to that end, I love them. Like they're what I imagined Stormcast would be before I knew what a Stormcast was, kind of a thing. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I think specifically, I think it would be they're just awesome. I like them. Purple, blue, and purple. Orange. I could do an orange. I think orange would be a nice little pop, especially if I just do it on like the Griffhound. Absolutely. Gray, green. Oh, I could do a gray, green. I know how to do that thing. Mr. Molly Malal. Hey Doug, you're one of the main influences to my own start my own channel. I'm watching the stream while finishing my Iron Jaws for my first long form video. Well, congrats, my friend. Yeah. Shoot me a link to the channel, or when you're done, like throw it on Instagram is probably where I'm most responsive, or my Discord. Honestly, those are pretty much the two places that I hang out online. Instagram and Discord. That's about it. Is it feathers, or are there bits more like smooth hide? So, for the Griffhound, he has feathers and then a sort of smooth body. For the Griff Charger he's wearing, it's pure feathers except for the top of the scalp and the beak. And obviously the beak I can do like a bone color or whatever. The Stormcast Chariot made me happy. Oh my god, hell yeah. You have no idea. I'm so freaking excited for that model. Like, I am over the moon excited for the Stormcast Chariot. I'm gonna have definitely one that's like painted up like Grease Lightning from from Grease, and I love them. Thanks for being such a positive part of the hobby. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I don't know why you'd be in this if you were negative. How's the build quality of the sculpts? Oh, for the Dominion set? I haven't built any of the grots yet. For the Stormcast, I've had no problems. I had exactly two things that seemed odd. One of them, and I don't even remember which one, of the Praetors, their cloak didn't line up quite right, so I had to do some finagling. You know, but I think I filled it in with a matte black enough till you can't even tell. Like, I'm having trouble figuring it. Oh yeah, this guy. So like this, if you look at the front of him, you see the metal right there. This whole right part, it's its own piece, and it doesn't quite snap straight into the other part. Now, because I did black, you're not going to see it that much, which is a godsend. So there's that one, and then also the leader boy for the Annihilators. It's very awkward, and I see that it actually happened again. His hand holding the shield is a completely different part to the relation of the rest of the model. Like, there's not even a joint where they actually merge. You plant the dude in one peg, and then in the peg in front of him, you plant the shield, and in theory, they're supposed to line up to where the hand magically goes into where the wrist is. And my guy his wrist keeps popping out, and so I have to work on him just a little bit more. Basically, just get some super glue in there and just take some time and just hold it in place. But it didn't snap into joints quite as easily and efficiently as I think they were thinking. But honestly, to have two minor things like that, I mean, this is insta-solvable with some glue. Like, there's not even a question there. The Praetor thing is a little bit more of a pain in the butt. I think they came out really well. As far as building them goes, I'm trying to remember if I had any problems. I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, just the only suggestion I would give is when you're doing the Vindictors, like the thin boys that we were talking about, just take your time and really read when you get, because some of them are multi build. You can, and not just leaders, but like the way that people are holding spears. Just take some time and really read, you know, how they're built and what you really want. That's all I would say. But I mean, that's all the preface I can offer because they really went together pretty quickly. Luckily, if you have Griff Count Orange, I think that could work. Oh, absolutely, I do. Let's see. Yeah, I'm thinking I want to keep the colors cold on my leader guy with his Griff Charger thing wrapping around him. So I'm thinking like a blue-gray. Or maybe, yeah, someone said like a green-gray. Let's do that. I just recently painted some Wadroon for Conquest. Oh, if you guys want to see. A note on the building thing. She and Drosta went together like a frickin' dream. And what I love about this model is actually not about the model itself. So this base that she's on, this stone base, you can't really tell by looking at it, but I was immediately like, oh man, is she going to be super fiddly? Is it going to be a pain in the butt to sculpt? This staircase thing is like 4 huge solid hunks of plastic. So like I have her magnetized and I never worry about popping her off or breaking the wings or anything like that because I don't know, man. If you just grab it by the actual stone masonry base thing, it's never gonna break. It's so solid. It's really good, really well designed construction of that little base platform thing. So I thought that was really well done. Okay, let me get my mixing brush. Thank you so much for answering. Oh, buddy, absolutely. Okay, at Doug, why are the Idnith Deepkin not in the recent books like Kragnos? Is there something I'm missing? They were in Broken Realms Marathi, Wolf. They were actually one of the first factions to get big major updates. Yeah, they did good. They walked away from the Broken Realms series looking good. And if you want to know more about their story, go ahead and check out my Broken Realms Marathi book series coverage. Griff Charger Gray. Possibly. I think I'm gonna go with the green. Somebody else suggested it, and I think some very different color to pop off of the Lord Imperatant here would be a good idea. I guess I don't need to do the big. So we're just gonna lay down a base color, which we'll have to do, of course, 2 thin layers of. Although I am interested in the new contrast paints, I think they're going to make a color that's not terribly dissimilar from this. This is Castellan Green, by the way. Sharks are useful now. I like them. I like the sharks. They are always my favorite of the models. Being real careful around his little gold headgear thing. I like to follow the edges of where like a cloak and stuff connect first, and that way I can be a little more loosey-goosey when it comes to covering the interior. Okay, what we got? Hope we get something for Warcry soon. I'm paranoid they're gonna squat it. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with Warcry. I'll be totally honest with you. You know, I have hope as long as Sam Pearson is there. he's my boy. For me, I kind of viewed the Grand Alliance books as like a soft reset, like a soft second edition, because now everybody has access to all the rules for their army and, you know, all these kinds of things. But they haven't done a ton since then. There's been a few White Dwarf missions and stuff. That's cool. I'm actually not opposed to that as being a cheap and easy way to supplement a game, but it doesn't feel the same thing as like a box set or new models or something. Let's see. Doug, how well do you think Path to Glory will interact with Anvil Apotheosis custom heroes? Let me think about that for a hot sec. My gut reaction is that it'll work just fine, to be honest with you. Just because there are built-in limitations for artifacts and spells and that kind of stuff when it comes to like your own battle tome. Yeah, I think it's probably fine. Like, I think if somebody wanted to use the Path of Glory stuff to power game the perfect hero, then they've missed the point of Path to Glory, and there's no way to help them with that. How about that answer? You played yourself. You don't even know what this game's about. But I think if you're just trying to create a cool looking hero, you know, I mean, like for the most reason that people use the army or the, you know, hero generator thing, it's just to make a cool hero. No, I don't think there's anything in there that's over the top busted that it's like, oh my god. Benjamin Drake, hey Jug, just wanted to thank you for the Dwegcom video. Oh yeah, absolutely. Dwegcom are so cool. If you guys haven't watched that, it's for Conquest, Last Argument of Kings by Parabellum. It is a super, super cool game. Go over this with a probably like a light brown wash, like a thinned out Agrax Earthshade, just to darken it up a smidge, and then pick out some of the highest feather points with one of the oranges I got here. I'm not sure which one. Let's see. Okay, Austin did have a question for you about Path to Glory. Do you still roll for your units, or do you just choose your units like normally? So, I really did enjoy the randomness of it. So basically nothing in our battle tomes works with the current system in terms of it wasn't designed for it. So you would just choose. However, I wouldn't see a problem with if you made a table for your faction where similarly pointed units were together. Why you couldn't just roll for them that way. You know, I mean, honestly, there's a myriad of ways to do it, whether it's you align them by points, or you do roll for things like you do from your battle tome. See what you get up to whatever your starting point value is for your game, and then just ask your gaming group, like, hey, you guys, you want me to swap these things out just to bring the points down or up a little bit, and then kind of do it that way. And I think for his body, we're going to do Griff Charger Gray. I think. Let me see if I can find it. Thought I had it. Brown, red. Snakebite, I'll need that in a bit. Aha, here we go. How big is the Killaboss on Gnashtooth compared to the Winged Stormcast hero? Unfortunately, I have not built my Cruel Boys side of this thing yet. I've just been really wanting to get my Stormcast started. Mainly because most of these units are the ones I'm going to be using in my Path of Glory stuff. He'll look a little dumpy until I get them all washed and based, but that's alright. And I will build the a lighter tone up on the gray. So for me, I like to do blocking out colors with contrast and then going back and building up the highlights. And that's what we'll do here. Perfect. Yeah, the brightness on the orange needs to come down just a hair. We'll get there. I love little burb dogs. See you later, Pretentification. Are you hoping the release of Chaos Dwarves again for all of us out there? I started them 30 years ago. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know a darn thing about Chaos Dwarves, and I have no emotional attachment to them. Which I think equally makes me qualified and totally not qualified to answer your question. Hey, do I want to see more Chaos stuff? The answer is always yes. Just period yes. Chaos Dwarves in particular? Give me anything. I don't care. Okay, what else do we need to do? Let's just pick a unit and work on that for a bit. I think that would kind of help me a bit. So let's do these guys. We're gonna grab. Where it at? Let's wash the gold here first. Would you say it's Stormcast or your favorite AOS faction? I guess I feel like I have to say yes. It's the only army I've done 3 versions of. I made the joke in a group chat that I'm in where I said, you know, regardless of my army swapping tendencies, I'm pretty sure I was born to paint Stormcast. I do enjoy it. I like the scale of them, the typically straightforwardness of their rules. Not a whole lot of gold on these guys yet. Let's see. All right. Doug, how's painting under those capes? Easy or not? Mine was not easy, but that's because I was a dingus and glued these guys down to their bases before I painted them. If you just don't do what I did, be smarter. They're really not hard to paint under at all, so long as you can pop the model off its base. I feel like most of my hobby and modeling tips are do as I say and not as I do. I'm going to push all these guys up to the side. We're just going to focus on these Praetors right now. So what would be a good next color? I'm thinking... let's get that wash for their armor. So for their armor... the Apothecary White does a pretty good job of like picking out details and stuff, but for me, I do a mix of half Nuln Oil, half medium. Just add a little more shadow. John, Doug, are you a big fan of kit bashing your armies or models, or keep them fairly standard? I tend to, well, I always, when I have a model kit that I like, I will always at least have one of the way that it was designed. And the reason is, I just like the way that the GW designed some things. Beyond that, I don't do a lot of converting to answer your question. I tried to do some when it came to my Maggotkin, and they looked great. I just didn't feel like the effort was worth the reward, if that makes sense. And that was a project that I liked, but then I did so much with it that it came to a point where it's like, it seemed daunting to expand the army, to try new things. because there would be so much work involved in making a new unit of anything. So I think I took it a little too far on that one with the hobbying. But that was also the point of the army. It was supposed to be a mega project. Here we go. Okay, say definition added. Your videos got me into Conquest. Oh, buddy, that's awesome to hear. I'm hoping you are enjoying it. They have a absolutely lovely community over there. Parabellum, the company who makes the game, is heavily involved in their own Discord. They have like an official one, and they're just the nicest guys. Okay. Good. Just putting some more definition in there. Let's see. I too have been known to take the kit bashing too far. Models get a little busy sometimes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's yeah, it reached a point where it's like I'm doing the kit bashing and the modeling for its own sake, not because I actually like the result anymore. And then in the second I wanted to try literally anything different with that army, as far as like different list types and stuff, I was like, this sucks. Because now that I've put all this work in, I don't want anything to look like it doesn't belong there. I also don't want to do the work to add anything to it. YBN, great. Reg Show fan. Oh, buddy, thank you so much. So has anyone seen that Andrasta would get curb stomped by Kragnos? Like, she's amazing, but it seems her monster abilities are an afterthought. Like, she should get bonus damage to monsters and rerolls. Yeah, I saw that. I was waiting in line to get some coffee this morning, and I was reading their article, like, Andrasta, handpicked by Sigmar to be the ultimate beast hunter. Her current, target, her prey that she's hunting is Kragnos. And I'm like, she's gonna get punked, like immediately. Like, we're all complaining about how easily Dixis and Sinessa got killed. I mean, she might as well just stay in Azir, seeing as how she's gonna get back there so dang quick, trying to go toe-to-toe with Kragnos. And it's like, yeah, I'm a Stormcast player. I'm gonna root for my team, but I think there's still room to be reasonable that she's gonna get absolutely crushed by someone of godlike power. Then again, reasonable has not a defining feature of the Warhammer universe, so maybe I'm just overthinking that a wee bit. Nice. Awesome. Perfect amount of wash, too. Nice. Crushing it. Yes. No, I totally agree. I haven't even really looked at her profile, like her actual card that much. But yeah, it's just like... Basically, Sigmar just handed her a spear and was just like, hey, go kill someone really big. Which, now that I think about it... Let's have a little lower corner here. Sending someone to go fight someone they don't stand a freaking chance of is also how Sigmar got rid of Grimnir. Grimnir's like, point me at something, and Sigmar's like, I guess he can go fight that mega lava monster, and boom, that's how he got shattered to a bajillion pieces. You know, maybe he just does that with people he doesn't like. What's that? You've pissed off the God King? Hey, buddy, come in close. I got a special mission for you. We're going goat hunting. And it's just like, give Andros to this crappy spear and like, no, go get Kragnos. I don't want my Warhammer to be reasonable. Excuse me. Been a weird summer. My allergies just go off and on. Let's see. Let me get some snakebite leather. They have these cool little like tassel type things. I'm just gonna pick those out real quick. Hey, take this stick and go kill the god of earthquakes real quick. Ball, you're right, it does. It is actually a Marathi thing to do. That's what she does when she makes someone soulbound. She's like, oh, you're like really smart and really, you know, good at fighting and stuff. Why don't you go somewhere else? That's pretty much the whole reward system there. Now the trick to doing the white, the way that I do it is just to make sure that you put down your base color of white, so in my case apothecary white, and then you do everything else, and literally the last thing I do is white again, so I can clean up any parts that I messed up on with Ulthuan Gray, and then do my edge highlight afterwards. Saves you from losing your mind. I will say, when it comes to like rope specifically, snakebite leather is my favorite paint. It just was a game changer for me. Oh, when I saw that a question popped up in the chat, give me just 1 second here. Okay. Rig Show fan, again, thank you so much, buddy. Don't get me wrong, she's amazing, and she's an auto include in every army. But yeah, she needs to calm down. I know. At a certain point, it's not like Rudy or the little engine that could. It's more just like watching somebody fail in slow motion so hard that you can't even really warn them. Because it's just a train wreck. You're just like, what? I'm gonna go kill Kragnos. And all the other Stormcast and Gur are just like, okay. Perfect. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. We should get the God of Tornadoes destruction. That would be cool. Oh, yeah. Honestly, if they just made a model for all of the Titans from the Hercules animated cartoon by Disney, I'd be cool with that too. Just a giant rock guy, the giant ice guy, the living tornado. The big fat orc dude could be, or giant dude could be Gorka Morka. Okay, I think I'm at a point where I'm ready to start tackling the weapons. These guys specifically are going to paint up extremely fast because there's just not a lot to them. Because the capes are covering like their shoulders and their backs and stuff, like literally the left just freeze for anybody else. Oh, weird. Huh. Give me just a hot second here, everybody. My computer's been doing this lately, and it is driving me insane. We're back? Okay. Huh. Weird. It'll come back here in a second. It always does. I have to call my internet provider and figure out what's going on. But I can keep talking to let you know that I'm here. And the audio's still working. We're back. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought it was just my internet. Yeah, no, it's mine, actually. It's been doing that to me a couple times, and honestly, it does it during video games too. Let me pop my chat out again. I'm sorry if I missed anybody's stuff when the things froze. Reg Show fan Deep Pockets here. I think based off this, we will see big buff to Celestant Prime in new book, since he's supposed to be on par with her. Hopefully. Yeah, I really do hope so. I want him to be an important figure. I feel like they introduced him and then he just kind of was like, alright, well, I'm gonna go off and fight other places now, bye. And then just kind of left everybody. But you know, to each their own. That's how he does his thing. Think we're going to see a lot of White Stormcast soon? It's okay. Nah, that was a competitive play. They're just Friday night pieces. It's acting up again. Well, I'm going to give it a minute here or so. Let me know if you can still hear me at least as I go to switch this song because it's the devil. Hello, the Prophet of Hashut. Okay. I'll be honest with you, I have never found a version of Stormcast weapon hafts, like I'm painting right now, like that I like. Doug, do you know any lore about the Storm host, the Sons of Malice? Why does that sound familiar? I feel like I've read that name, certainly in the Battle Tome. But I can't think of a very specific story with them in it. I don't think I do off the top of my head. I would have to do some research. How about that? I feel like that's what 90% of being an Age of Sigmar YouTuber is just research. Oh, 1 second. Chat's being a bit strange. Do you think we'll get a new sub-faction for every destruction army? A new sub-faction for... Oh, like, kind of like how Cruel Boys are? Is that what you mean? I think I understand what you mean. I mean, I'm hoping they all get a dearth of support during this time. I mean, I don't really know what sub-faction support looks like, you know, going forward in terms of if they have like a new design idea that we're going to see in future battle tomes. I'm curious about that. At some point this week, hopefully, I should be receiving my General's Handbook, and I was told that I'm allowed to talk about that the second I get it. So hopefully that coverage will be coming soon. I think that would answer a lot of my personal questions when it comes to the new edition as far as what unit sizes and stuff are going to be. They're going to need to do a little bit of work on that one, but I am excited for it. Yeah, like Cruel Boys. You know, I would love it, honestly. If I would love more things to be in that same vein where, like, this could be on its own, or it could be a bigger part of something else, meaning Orc War Clans. I don't know, but I like that idea. I like the idea because it's not Grand Alliances, but it is giving you like a wide berth of things that you can just like a model and pick it up and probably have a use for it. It might be a derpy army, but if you're playing with the models you like, that doesn't matter. That derp is endearing. Okay. These guys are coming along pretty quick, and I am thankful for it. Let's just snag her headpiece here. The Spear of Malice is also mentioned in Kragnos as being the device which allows the humans to see a bit to the future. So, yeah, there's the Storm Host, the Spears of Malice, and then there is the Spear of Malice, which is an artifact from the old world in Excelsior. I assumed he was talking about the Storm Host. But if you want to learn more about the artifact, the Spear of Malice, highly recommend reading City of Secrets. It's a wonderful book. Great little self-contained AOS story, and it does matter because it is canonically confirmed to have taken place as by evidence in Broken Realms Kragnos. They straight up mention the ramifications of that book. Okay. The dudes are the Sons of Malice, and the artifact is the Spear of Malice. And let's not forget that Malice is also just the name of the old world. Caleb, you are correct. It is, but then there are these other parts that are also named Malice because, I don't know, they couldn't be bothered to come up with more than one name. So there's Malice in the sky, there's the Malice in Excelsior, there's the Sons of Malice, the Storm Host. What other Malice things are? I feel like there's more. Oh, I feel like I just read about something. Where did I read? Malice. I think it was something when I was studying stuff for the Grugny video. What color should I do the claws on my Lord of Change? Gray with blue head and wings. I mean, honestly, black is a pretty cool color. It's pretty classic. That would go really well with those. I guess a bone color would too. I'll be honest, I'm not the most creative when it comes to color schemes. As you can tell, all my Stormcast, I just stole somebody else's. Most of the time, I steal color schemes from other people, or more often than not, the battle tomes. Okay. What faction do you think is next in terms of new models? Also, what do you think Nurgle might get in the future? I believe there's a rumor engine with a Nurgling horde. Oh, sorry, a Nurgling holding a flute. You know, I don't really know. So as far as like next army to get models, it's definitely going to be Stormcast and Cruel Boys, just because they've already showed us some of the models that are coming, like the Stormcast Chariot and stuff like that we've talked about. Beyond that, I don't know. And then to answer your question about Nurgle stuff, I don't know. I don't follow rumor engines at all. You know, either the Games Workshop one, or just people who say, "Well, I know a thing." I don't trust any of it, unless it's on pre-order. I don't believe it. That's just my own personal philosophy and how I approach the internet. But as far as what I think they need, well, I think they have gotten pretty well covered, at least in the meantime, from Broken Realms, whatever Broken Realms book gave them buffs. I can't remember them all now. And the reason I say that is just because I think that the changes to the Bile Piper and the Scrivener were so huge that it just really opened up a lot of potential for demon armies that were never there before. Beyond that, I am not quite sure. I'm not sure what I'd even want for him, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't want plague zombies like they have in 40k, because I feel like you'll never see Blight Kings again. if that's the case. I don't know. Plus, I mean, Plague Bearers already fill that role, I feel like. Okay. Nice. It's not like Warhammer Fantasy where you can speculate because AOS and nothing makes sense. It's kind of true. They keep you on your toes. Speculate about what's coming next in AOS. Everything is so crazy. Trying to guess is pointless. That's kind of my thing. I remember this was like 2-3 years ago now. He said it on a show. Vince Ventrella said it on Warhammer Weekly. That when they started kicking off like the rumor engine pictures, and you know, at the time they were like, "Hey everybody, Necromunda's back," and Blood Bowl. And what else came back at that time? Warcry wasn't out yet, and some other stuff. Oh, and Underworlds. Underworlds came out before Warcry. Like all these things that like it reached a point where it's like it is a fool's errand to try and guess what's coming out, even with a spoiler image, because like there's just so many games it could be a part of that it's just ridiculous. And I don't know why, like, for all the jokes I poke at those guys for like predictions and that kind of stuff, it's all in good fun. I absolutely love chatting with Vince and Tom. That line has always been like, yeah, that's all there is to it. Like, there's just so much stuff happening. Like, who the hell can guess some of these things? Piece of Chaos is probably up for the next up, considering how outdated it is. I hope so. Because mainly because they were, in my opinion, affected most heavily by the changes with battalions and stuff. In terms of they, and I think the Slaves to Darkness, just everybody lost something, but they lost some parts of their core flavor, if that makes sense. Like the ability to go into other factions. It's kind of their whole jam. And so I do think it's okay to focus on like, hey, everybody was affected, but not equally. Here are factions that no longer are able to do the things that we envisioned for them, right? I mean, obviously when those books were written, they were written with one design philosophy in mind, and it switched to another. And so I don't think that they're like, those armies are dead, don't panic, sell, nothing like that. You just need a little time in the hopper. They'll get their support. I'm not worried about it. Time for a Kragnos-sized Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. That'd be cool. They could do some horrific bug creatures. I'd love it. I mean, I have a Tyranids army. I like bugs. It's not really that I like bugs, per se. It's more that I like the idea of the enemy that, like, you can't reason with because it's not reasonable. It's a creature. It's not, it functions like an army, but it's not. It's a beast. And there's just something about that is terrifying and awesome. I'll take a tank-sized cockroach. Oh, that would be amazing. Give these guys a pretty baller-looking pole arm. I think I'll try to get these guys finished out, and then we'll call it a day. Still got some time. It's still like 30-40 minutes. With where the story is, what are the big movers and shakers up to, and to what plot points are still open? Technically, as far as plot points that are still open, Archeon still knows how to get into Azir using Varanite. His main scientist, Eater of Tomes, is dead by the Seraphon's hands. But the fact that he has a plan and had somebody working on it means somebody else can be working on it. So there's that. I'm going to put that on the back burner because, you know, if they were like, Eater of Tomes was really the main guy for that, I'd be fine with that. You know, it seemed like a good way to wrap up that side narrative, but technically speaking, there's no reason somebody else couldn't learn what he learned. Let's see, beyond that, Marathi made some form of peace with the Celestant Prime, so she's not at war with Sigmar. They're still part of Order, still working together to build cities, as of the core book. What else? I don't really know where that leaves the Deepkin, if I'm honest with you. It would be cool if they had a different section for neutral monsters. Old and new, considering the focus on Gur. Oh, I would love that. Well, didn't they have that for a while? Am I just crazy? Am I making this up in my head? Wasn't there like a point in time where the Realmscape feature for Gur was having neutral monsters? I guess not that you can take as an army, but they would just be on the board wrecking stuff. Kind of, I guess, function like proto endless spells, right? But yes, to respond to your comment, I would be absolutely in favor of that. I want as much Gur-themed stuff as possible. Yes, okay, they did. Okay, I'm not losing my mind. Some days it's hard to tell. I have definitely made up rules in my head. Like, I'm pretty sure this is in the rules, and everyone's just like, no? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, are you getting it confused with a different game? No. No. Definitely thought this was an AOS original. Just ordered some Skaven to start my Warcry warband. Nice. Oh, looks like my internet's being janky again. Sorry, everybody. It should go back to normal in just a minute here. I'm just going to keep talking because I know sometimes the video goes weird, but you can still hear me, so at least that's my understanding. But that's awesome. Yeah, Skaven and Warcry are brutal because they have just that perfect mix of little dudes and big guys who can ruin your day. Straight up. Okay. Let's got more gold and then we'll be done with these. The gold on these guys. Also, make sure I got the handle on the other one. Nice. Nice. Okay. Sitting pretty with that. My army is currently 3 Storm Fiends and a rat with a rocket launcher. Oh, from the Skaven. What is it? I can't think of the guy's name. The set from Broken Realms Kragnos. Yeah. Whenever I do start collecting box reviews, a number of people have asked in the comments, you know, at the end of these videos, you always say that you define how good a start collecting box is by, you know, will you actually use these models and are they representative of the faction? Why do you ask if they're representative? You know, Games Workshop has a pretty consistent aesthetics and that kind of thing. And I do it for that exact reason of, like, anyone who got into the game with that Skaven box and thinks that they're an elite army because it came in groups of 5 will have a rather rude awakening. Any ogre lore in the core book? Yes, they have a little blurb for each faction, but nothing new. It's just a recap of already existing stuff. I mean, you know, the core books have never been a massive source of new lore. It's always a great sum up of things that came before. But I think in the interest of having them be at least timeless within, or evergreen within the edition itself, I don't think they really typically add anything new. There's a little bit, you know, they talk about the Dawnbringer Crusades that I have a video going out on, I think, Monday for, which I think you'll all enjoy. Probably the next iteration of a Cities of Sigmar is kind of what I'm thinking. Kind of like how Soulblight took over in place of Legions of Nagash. I also think that this could take over in place of Cities of Sigmar. What faction do you find the most difficult to paint? Ooh. Let me think on that one for just a hot second. Most difficult to paint. I mean, my go-to is Harlequins in 40k, but obviously we're talking AOS. Maybe Deepkin? There's just a lot going on between all the different organic shapes, and as well as they have smooth curved armor rather than jagged shapes that are nice to edge highlight. I think that's probably a fairly answer. Of all the Chaos crossplay that Slaves to Darkness and Beasts of Chaos are doing, might come to an end. Mogwai Man, I don't think they're coming to an end. I think they just, like many books, quite frankly, like Tyranids is in 40k, the edition evolved around them. And when it comes time for them to get a book, they'll get a good update and make it what they intended it to be, There we go. I just missed a little bit of the banner there. And these guys are almost donezo. All I have to do at this point is throw just a little bit of wash on the weapons, of course, because I just put the gold on there. And then do highlights on the cloaks and the armor. And then obviously do the basing, but I hate basing. I hate basing so much. But I like the sequiturs that I got. And also I'm using some cool flower tufts. The awesome dudes over at Gamergrass sent me these. But they have all different kinds of grass and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to mix them all together, bleed them in together, and have a cool little field. Have these guys be stalking plains and prairies kind of a thing. But yeah. Night Haunt can definitely be hard to paint. I would agree. Night Haunt is easy to paint technically, but I find it's you get to like object source lighting and that kind of stuff for a new player, that gets really hard on, because they're like holding up candles and stuff. That can be pretty difficult. I'd agree with that. I've got so many missing pointy bits. That's funny. Friends, I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off here for the day. Got to get some chores in and get some videos worked out for next week. I think that you will enjoy. We're talking Dawnbringer Crusades and what else? I had a whole list of stuff. Where's my phone? Oh yeah, and a story thus far I wanted to do. Get everybody caught up to the current timeline and stuff. So yeah, I hope that you all enjoy your day. Take it easy, and I will catch you